find the right balance so we could maintain the natural product and keep it from leaking. And we went through quite a few experiments on that. We ended up determining that it was a formulation, that we could change the flavoring and the compounds so that we could reduce the leakage. But we also looked at an alternate cap that would dispense in a drop rather than as a squeeze or a stream. And so, that I wish we had done earlier in the process. And there is a brand of sweetened liquid water enhancer. I'll take a look as I'm telling you more about this, so I can give you the name because it's very interesting what they've done with it. But they had created a larger bottle with a dropper, not a dropper, like a separate dropper unit that screws into the top of the cap, into the bottle, but a membrane that would be more robust than a typical the membranes that we would use in our caps for a stream. And that is really interesting because it gives the consumer much more control. And then you can actually, you can label more servings if you include drops. Even if they're using the same amount, it's more controlled. So you can actually say it's 2 drops per 8 ounce. And so you can create more value. And this brand of stevia, let's see, they're based in Florida. I know the people that are there. Pure, Pyure. I would take a look at their bottles because they're doing some really interesting things with. It's not a flavored water enhancer, at least I don't think it's. But the one they recently launched was just a liquid sweetener, and it's a much larger bottle. It has about 100 servings in it. It's not much larger than our 50 milliliter. I think it's maybe 80 milliliters, maybe 70, something around that. But they do have a drop, a thick membrane that creates a more controlled drop. And that works pretty well. But I would look at that. I wish we had done that, and that's something, it's hard to tell, the use case and how people will react to the different requirements. But we did some research on that, and we did a conjoint test of requirements to find out what was actually driving purchase. It was serving size, it was if it was natural ingredients, if it was organic. And I can go into some of those things if you'd like, but that's not really a co-packer question, so media requirements question.
Okay. Okay, I just had one more question then. When you're thinking about a development time when you're working with a co-packer, what do you expect for typical, when you give them, I guess, a design brief or your product specifications all the way through to ready to ship? How long was that process typically for you?
It was long. It was quite a bit longer than we had hoped. But there were a few reasons for that. And when I say long, we had hoped within 3 months, we could get, a good prototype, that we could start doing a little bit more testing on our own. But it ended up taking about 8 months to develop. And it was because we had so many more requirements. I mentioned some of the testing we did after the fact, and even then we still didn't know exactly what it was that would work. But it was the kind of a combination of they had to use our stevia, they had to be able to give us a good certainty that we'd be GMO project verified. We'd have to meet the nutrition panel requirements. We had a definite requirement of no sugar and no carbohydrates. And then we had this other requirement, which was impossible to meet, and we ended up abandoning it, and that was glycemic index. We had wanted a 0 glycemic index product, and it just, with the flavorings in there's so much variance because some flavorings are bring carbohydrates and glycemic response. So we ended up abandoning that requirement. If we had gone in with a little bit more clear sense, I feel we could have gotten it in 3 to 4 months. But it was we had to go back and forth and fine tune that process.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm good, Matt. Looks like he's good. All right. So I think it's